Today I'm here with Andy. He was a past program manager for Concussion Alliance. And if you want to introduce yourself real quick.
Yeah, my name's Andy Pham. I'm a senior at University of Washington, Bothell. I'm currently a public health student, and I'm also minoring in community health and global health. So a lot of that spectrum is just all tied together in one thing where I'm learning about how to better the quality of life for like population health, learning about health systems and stuff like that. And yeah, currently I'm trying to apply to grad school and kind of go towards a master's in public health. Currently looking at UW Seattle's master's program along with like UCLA. So yeah, that's just my thing right now. And I love public health. So
Awesome. So yeah, Concussion Alliance, you worked as a program manager. How have the skills that you learned as a program manager contributed to your experiences in the healthcare industry?
well, for one, this was my first internship ever. So it was definitely a different experience to what I've been used to. It's something way different to just a normal job that you would work like in person. So initially I had to go and kind of realize like I was managing more than just my own work. I had to manage more of like the science writers themselves. So a lot of that was just bouncing between that, Connor, and some of the peer mentors, and also with that, and also kind of keeping in touch with like the science writers and stuff. So my job and my role was just really bouncing around these avenues all the time. So at first it was kind of hard to stay organized mentally because I'm always kind of checked in between these groups, kind of managing, see how everything's going. So oftentimes my work outside of even the work hours would also be like kind of figuring out what to do from there and kind of foundation steps to set up myself better for the next day. So sometimes it'd be stressful in that regard, but like even then, like you're so involved in these projects and kind of what the students are up to that like you just have a big role in kind of understanding how to better the students, how to contribute to like discussions on like the books and stuff, even contribute to like guest speakers. It's just really good. And towards the end, when you're working with projects and stuff with them, it's super cool how to see their progress, how you can help, how you can give your own insights and stuff like that. So being a project manager is just being in a good way, just being all over the place and working in different sections of the project and kind of like the internship with people. But like, yeah, it's just a great learning experience, kind of understanding how to work with timing, kind of managing and really bettering like organizational skills with like people. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you learned all these things while at Concussion Alliance. So one of your goals is emphasizing educational awareness. Um, how did your work at Concussion Alliance kind of align with that goal? And also your involvement in the healthcare industry, how does that relate to your goal of emphasizing educational awareness?
I think initially when I started, I was still diving into what exactly in public health I was looking for. So I know this is an opportunity to really begin advocating. So I think at this time I was really interested in the research side of things and how concussion research was implemented and how it was advocated. So of course, when I was looking on Handshake, Concussion Alliance was really advocating for these things. And it just sounded super interesting because one, you're doing research articles, you have people managing, you have science writers, and all of these are different realms of public health that like we need in society. So it's just something really important. And for me, it was really something I wanted to take interest in and see if I could see how I could contribute personally. And I think that really helped me understand like more as wanting to be like a public health leader in managing projects in some sort because I took a lot of pride in kind of learning about people and kind of how to manage these projects, kind of like taking stepping stones to like finishing projects and how we can stay organized together to finish that deadline. So it was really good. I really learned a lot, and I think it was a great foundational step in kind of taking that and moving forward as like a future public health leader in a way. So yeah.
Yeah. So speaking to the curriculum that you had at Concussion Alliance with learning about concussions, um, how did that relate? How did that impact your relationships with others? Maybe others that you know who had a concussion?
for me personally, I didn't really have anyone else around me that was kind of like involved, impacted, kind of like in that way with concussions. But like me, I remember when I was initially applying, I could recall a time in high school where there was a school bus crash that I was on, but it was like super minor, but like it was just one of those few times where you don't really know it happens until it happens to you. You don't really expect it to happen until it happens. So I got a little bit of a minor concussion that year in concussions are in school, so I had to take like a 2 week break from my swim team. So that was definitely something that I was exposed to, and it's still something I recall now. Like, wow, I guess I do have a connection to concussions somehow. So it's really interesting to know that, and I'm sure there's people out there that have like many different stories on why concussion injury care, or even just like the Concussion Alliance program itself kind of sticks out to them in a way. So I believe like the cohort that we have all have something that draws them to concussions somehow, and accompanying that with research, community, public health, and kind of managing and becoming a team is just something that probably fits that bubble for everyone. So
Yeah. Throughout the Concussion Alliance internship program, there are a lot of guest speakers that come in and talk. Were there any professionals that you were put in contact with through Concussion Alliance?
no, personally, but I think a couple guest speakers that really stuck out to me were the author of the book. I might have forgotten the title of the book. But it was the book that we had read for a little bit.
Yeah, Shaken Brain.
Uh, yeah, Shaken Brain. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a great one because like I was managing a lot of the questions itself while reading it, so getting to hear from the author herself was just really great to understand her perspective of things because it wasn't the most like simple book. It had some complex detail and ideas to it that really built off of concussion learning. So it definitely took a lot of time and investment to really read in, kind of understand that. But it was really rewarding when I got to hear it. We all had that meeting together, learning about what she had written in the book, her passions towards it. So it was a really great experience. And yeah, I mean, honestly, every guest speaker had something different to share. It was just something great because their perspective, being like doctors, understanding how their research kind of contributes to like medical school and health and concussion learning. So it was really great. I know it was a while for me, so I can't really remember all their names, but I remember just guest speakers every week, and it was just something I really look forward to every week because one, it wasn't reading, so it definitely wasn't boring. I could listen to people actually share their thoughts, and it was a really great experience.
Yeah. So a little bit more on your career. Do you want to just talk a little bit more about your goals with grad school and your future possible experiences?
Well, for me, I'm applying to grad school to kind of, like I said earlier, kind of like further that public health leader type of role. So like these grad programs that I'm specifically applying to kind of like focus on learning about health systems, population health, and then there's also like realms of like future public health leaders, health professionals in a way. So I think those all both are both skills of avenues that I can really benefit towards because when you're introduced to being a public health leader, you want to learn about health systems as well to best benefit how you can create better quality of life for people there in any community because any that work is just universal. It can be applied to any country, any city, any state. It works out. So that's just something I've been looking forward to. And besides grad school, I mean, the kind of role I see myself in as a job wise would be like King County Public Health, any like health district, CDC, kind of like where I have a fundamental role as like a project manager, where we're like, because like public health, you can go into any project because there's thousands of things like climate change, emergency preparedness, COVID, HIV, AIDS. Like there's so many things that you can research and manage at the same time that you need for people. So like it honestly being a leader in any of that realm is just something I'm looking forward to. So, yeah.
Yeah. You talked a little bit about kind of this is like getting to know the systems in place in the healthcare system. With your personal experience with concussion, were there any reflections that you had after going through the curriculum at Concussion Alliance on how you were treated?
In terms of reflections, I mean, I remember the stigmatization of like, when you brush off a concussion, you just think like, oh my gosh, it's just lightheadedness, it'll just go away. I shouldn't worry about it. But like I mean, learning about that stuff now, like, of course, it's always you need to take like precaution and really understanding what a concussion does to your brain and stuff like that. So, in terms of taking away from like the internship, I mean, learning about that, and I've kind of learned for myself how to like help others in case of a scenario like that. I mean, concussions don't are brushed off, kind of they go under the water. So basically, they just when you learn about it, it's just fundamental to really know the steps on how to take precaution for yourself, for people around you, for the close ones around you. So maybe in the future, like if I had a kid like who had a concussion during a sports event, I would know like kind of like the first thing to do. And also there's also so many pages on Concussion Alliance that really highlight different things and symptoms, like kind of like, vestibular therapy, kind of like learning that stuff, different types of headaches, it's just something that those resources are really helpful in learning about that. So, and they're really accessible. So learning about that and reflecting on that, I think it can benefit me now and in the future. And it's just something that'll always be there for me. If anything happens, I can go and research that if I need to. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for everything today. That's kind of all I have. But thank you for your work at Concussion Alliance, and um, I wish you the best with your career in public health.
Appreciate it, Sam. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah.